why I've come to believe government is broken and corrupt. I grew up in the Ozarks of southern Missouri. I was raised by a single mother. I went to the University of Missouri, met my future wife there. We went off to, we got married, went off to Boston together. I went to Harvard Law School. I was a classmate of Barack Obama's. Yes, he was there. I had class with him. I'm not getting into the citizenship stuff, but I know he was a student there because I had a class with him. Graduated in 91, class of 91, moved out here, practiced law. Thank you for the introduction, Francis. You hit some of the highlights in terms of what I did as a lawyer. I ran for county attorney, Maricopa County attorney. Actually, I ran for Attorney General in 2002, won the Republican primary, came pretty close to winning statewide. I then ran for Maricopa County 2 years later, was elected. I ran on a platform of stopping illegal immigration, which the elite scoffed at. What can a prosecutor do to fight illegal immigration? As I used to say, I hope if nothing else I answered that question in my tenure, because Sheriff Arpaio and I did a great deal to address that issue. But I had a target on my back, and here's why. In Arizona, in order to practice law, you have to be a member of the state bar. The state bar is a sort of public, sort of private agency. I've never been able to quite figure that out, and I am someone who's trained to figure such things out. This agency is very liberal. It is controlled by liberal activist lawyers, and it's part of the courts, the judiciary. So let's see, we have a conservative prosecutor who's taking on a potent issue of legal immigration and who's willing to criticize judges who refuse to enforce crackdowns on illegal immigration. You know, in retrospect, I guess I had a pretty big target painted on my back, but you know, the naive hillbilly that I was, I figured, hey, you know, the people support it, I'm going to do the right thing. So in 2005, I come into office, we start cracking down on illegal immigration, we get the laws in place, and I'm grateful to all the legislators who voted to get those laws in place. We started enforcing them in Maricopa County, and in 2006, the great people of Yavapai County and every other county in Arizona voted to end the right to bail for illegal immigrants accused of serious felonies. That was a reform that I helped write. The legislature referred to the ballot, passed 77% of the vote. Well, in 2007, I learned that the judges in Maricopa County, the leadership, are refusing to enforce what was known as Prop 190, the no bail provision. They're instructing their subordinates not to ask arrestees about their immigration status because of liberty concerns. So I speak out about it. I denounce it publicly. And retired judges whose identities remain cloaked in mystery went to the state bar, which is run by the courts, and told them, you need to, quote unquote, do something about Andrew Thomas. And so they did. A wave of state bar investigations targeting my law license began in that year. What would turn into a 5-year campaign by liberal activist lawyers to disbar me. The first wave was of 13 investigations targeting me and my subordinates about a variety of frivolous matters. I went public with it in 2008 when I was up for re-election. And Napolitano was raising money for her staff lawyer, and she ran against me for county attorney. I was outspent 2-1. The Democratic Party, for the first time ever, maybe in the history of the country, dumped 6 figures into trying to defeat me. But I won re-election, actually by, as it turns out, a good margin. And the bar complaints were eventually dismissed. But they realized they'd hit my Achilles heel. So they kept coming back. And they kept coming back. And then Sheriff Arpaio and I did corruption investigations. There were 2 of the 5 Maricopa County supervisors were indicted by 2 different county grand juries for alleged corruption. We charged a judge. I'm not going to go into the facts unless you have specific questions, but this is all leading up to, they finally were just so hopping mad and frustrated that they couldn't drive me out of office. And then when I ran for Attorney General, they did not want me to become Attorney General. And thanks to Yavapai County, you were one of my best counties. Despite all of this, despite all of what I'm leading up to, I lost by 1/10 of 1% of the vote. Despite every dirty trick in the book. And I want to thank you all, many people in here, including Francis, who supported me. So they came after me, they appointed an independent counsel in violation of their own rules and put a bounty on my head by paying this guy by the hour from Colorado to go after my law license. They put him in the Biltmore, which is a 5-star resort in the valley, indefinitely. And not surprisingly, he found all kinds of alleged allegations. Well, here's the punchline. I haven't gotten to the part where I lose my law license. I'm getting there. But this is the punchline. Because this tells me, and I think it will tell you, everything that is wrong with our government. The judge who presided in my hearing was William O'Neill. He was a judge in Pinal County. When we filed criminal charges against a judge, Gary Donahoe of Maricopa County, that case was assigned to him in Pinal County. Judge O'Neill blocked us from prosecuting Judge Donahoe in an unprecedented act. The Supreme Court then promoted him to be the disciplinary judge to preside over my hearing, part of which involved allegations that we had improperly prosecuted Judge Donahoe. It later turned out Judge O'Neill issued criminal search warrants against me, didn't tell people, which means, of course, he found probable cause that we had committed crimes, me and other people. He then refuses to recuse himself from the hearing, presides over it like Judge Ito in the O.J. Simpson case, so he can get on TV, presumably. He takes my law license, and then a friend of his from Pinal County, Mark Dixon, comes forward and signs an affidavit saying, Judge O'Neill told me that Andrew Thomas has no right to prosecute judges, and Judge Donahoe was my friend. That is what happened. Now, I share that I could go into the outrages, go beyond that. I want to focus this on the task at hand, which is to make people understand, and I doubt there are very many in this room who need to be persuaded of it. And there aren't many Americans left who need to be persuaded of it. But I realize now that this naive hillbilly to believe in our government was wrong. It is broken and corrupt because fundamentally it is run by unelected judges, bureaucrats, and special interests behind the scenes. The people know they can't penetrate that. They're frustrated and they want answers. And they want somebody to do something about it. So what is to be done? First of all, we need to speak the truth. The truth always has a constituency, and in time it can command a majority. And in America, it usually does. And we need to understand the truth about our government, and we need to be able to move forward and do something about this. I think that the Republican Party has a tremendous opportunity here that I frankly would not have recognized if I had not gone through these injustices. But I do now, because, and frankly, people in the political class right now, it's not really in their interest to say that the government they're a part of is this way. There are some brave souls who could say that, but most won't. But look at what we were just talking about, you were mentioning earlier about the young people, how they all turned out for Obama. What are we going to do about that? Well, here's what I think we need to do. We need to look at who in the Republican coalition and who in this last Republican campaign were the most activist, engaged people in the Republican coalition. And I will tell you, beyond peradventure, the people who fit that description in the Republican Party were the young supporters of Ron Paul. And I admit, I did not vote for Ron Paul. I voted for somebody else in our primary. But I respected what he stood for. And what's more, I took notice. These are young people who have totally lost faith in the government. They want the Fed to be audited. They want federal agencies to be shut down. And they have no confidence that these federal programs that people of earlier generations enjoy or believe will be there, they don't think they'll be there by the time they come of that age. And so they have issued a vote of no confidence in the government. And I think we need to learn from that. Because fundamentally, I think that is what is required. It is going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort to address the situation. But it comes, first of all, with recognizing the truth. The truth, as I said, can command a majority. It already does. The American people, the people of Arizona, recognize that they recognize the problem. And what this reminds me of is the illegal immigration problem 10 years ago. When I ran 10 years ago on a platform of fighting illegal immigration, there weren't many people. I don't know if there was a single politician who was in office at that point who joined us.
Crandall's doing it, but you ran for Secretary of State.
Well, there you go. Illegal immigration, 10 years ago, we were considered, marginal people for talking about that issue. But the public wanted something done, and something has been done. Now the establishment is fighting back, and they're trying to crush anybody who does it, who even speaks about it. We have to push back on that issue. More fundamentally, I see the same dynamic now with the loss of faith, the crisis of faith in our government. The people are speaking. The question is, do we have ears to hear them? In my own situation, there's an old Roman saying that comes to mind. Misfortune nobly born is good fortune. My wife is not here. She was there Saturday. She will readily admit I have complained a lot about my own situation. I have not lived up to that standard, but I will tell you that I have learned from that. I have connected with people, and I understand why they have concluded this. That is why. And I'm sorry. Forgive me for speaking out of school, but we just lost the presidential election. We didn't do well statewide. Look at all the congressional races that we lost. I don't think that the same old mantra of let's cut taxes and reduce red tape, people are tired of that. It's the same old cliches. We've got to deal fundamentally with a government that people no longer believe in. So that's what I'm about. I've been urged to run for office again. I'm thinking about it. I'm not anxious to do it, particularly given all that I've been through. But the minimum I want to do is talk to people and let them realize that the government has to be viewed this way. We have to be honest about it. And if we will, there is a great ray of light that comes from the darkness of just getting our butts kicked in this election. Because if we will acknowledge that, if we will provide meaningful solutions, and there are meaningful solutions, if we start here in Arizona, we can get it going in the federal government, I believe we will be rewarded. We will be on the path back to majority status, and we won't be fighting at the margins this identity group politics with President Obama to win elections, because we will once again have the vast majority of people supporting us because we are brave and because we are honest. And I know that the people in this room are, or you wouldn't be here tonight. I thank you very much for your time, and God bless you.